JB here. JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Tuesday, September 16th, 3:34 on this fine afternoon. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P slightly, let's see here. Sorry, I don't have my current thing. Whoop. Down about tenth, a little over a tenth of percent. Nasdaq down just barely, slightly in the red. The Nasdaq's looking to put an end to a 9 session winning streak. So we'll see if we get a last minute magical hand pushing it into double digits. Impressive stuff. But kind of another lackluster session. I was talking about it Friday, and then today the trading range, another like 2 point something percent trading range right now. Knock on wood. I mean, we've still got 25 minutes left in the day, and this is all ahead of the Fed tomorrow. The VIX, just like yesterday, is kind of creeping, right? It's in the green up, and just the last 30 minutes or so went from flat all the way up to 4%. But I think again, a lot of it's just positioning ahead of tomorrow. And if you look at the implied move on the SPY tomorrow, it was 0.84 before. I don't have the exact. It was $5 and 50. So yeah, about a little over 8%. So I would say that's kind of like typical. I don't think there's gonna be like surprises, right? I mean, you hope not, right? To me, the issue would be if there's some kind of surprise. If there's a jumbo rate cut, I wouldn't want just quarter rate cut. Fed Chair Powell spin things somewhat dovish, talk rates down, right? I think that's the better solution than actually doing massive rate cuts. And then I think the market can kind of hold its ground. So that'd be the ideal scenario. Um, let's see here. Whoops. But outside of that, nothing crazy. I mean, gold is rocketing to highs, right? All-time highs. It's almost like if there's a bubble, it's the amount of people who say buy gold, it's heading substantially higher situation. I mean, there's been gold bugs, right? And I've been a bear for gold for a long time. Uh, just on a couple pieces, and I'm not going to go into rants here, but um, so I've encountered a lot of the there's a lot of gold bugs, and congrats to them, right? But it's like there's like an insane amount now. So how much legs does that have? I don't know, but anyway, so that's kind of like the overall markets. Take a look at the SPY here. Upper Bollinger Band is 661.71. Let's see here. Why don't I have this exactly up here? We're at 659.80. So, nothing crazy here. And, considering we're at all-time highs, some chop in a tight range. Of course, I would love to see it green, but nothing unexpected. All right, so that's kind of overall markets. Now, just quick on some individual names. And first, I'll just talk about Duolingo. It was DuoCon today. 12 o'clock live stream. They just announced like two offerings. Like one is, I guess, your language score is able to be ported or part of your LinkedIn profile. I don't know how much value add that is to the company. They also talked about their chess having player versus player and some other things. I don't know, if the market was expecting either some guidance updates or updates to their business metric wise. So because we didn't get that, I don't know if it became a sell the news, but it's still a name I look at. I'm like, this is uh, I don't like to use the comparisons as much, but you take a look at a stock like AppLovin, right? And AppLovin was down. It was $400 or $500. People like similar to Duolingo. Like what? I remember looking at Duolingo, like what the heck does that company do? And then researching, like, oh wow, this is like Rosetta Stone, and thinking it's substantially overvalued without ever looking at like the underlying business. Same with AppLovin. I remember everybody looking, it was like $70, $80 stock. And then once it exploded to 400, $500, people like, what the heck does AppLovin do? And then sure enough, just like Duolingo with Citron Research, some other folks come bearish on the name. AppLovin had the same situation, right? All these well, I don't know, won't call them bear funds, but these pieces, the people who normally come out with these short pieces came out on AppLovin, citing like, you know, minor things like they did with Roblox, right? Concerns around ads being, PG-13 ads being catered, being sent to minors. Just things that create this. Oh my gosh, that's really bad. And then, App Loving, you take a look. What, it's $600 today. Same with, I mean, I'm not Roblox, similar thing, right? I mean, they thought that was it. It was going, what was it, $20, and boom, you see that where that's gone. So I'm not saying we're having this deja vu here with Duolingo, but to me, again, it just screams out to like there's an opportunity, and I don't know when that opportunity is going to be. I was even this morning before it started to melt in the afternoon after the live stream. I'm like, those 325s, 330s, they were expensive, but it's not going to take much. And then once it goes, it could be like 10%, 15%, and then those calls are many, many bags. But for now, I'll just put that on my watch list, keep it in the back, and then if I see some opportunities, I'll trade it. All right, so that's Duolingo. Reddit, frustrating. I wouldn't even call it frustrating because it's actually up 1% here. The issue is the premiums, right? Because it's probably going to 6% move. And when you have weekly strikes and it's not moving, the premiums come out of the call. So, thankful to lock some of my profits in to cover costs yesterday, not all of it. And my calls are still kind of flat from my entry, but they're down 30% today, despite the stock hit all-time highs right now. Pretty much right as I'm speaking, the stock's right near all-time highs. Still like this for some kind of breakout. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow. I don't know if it's gonna be Thursday. I don't know. When it does, the call's gonna be up substantial, so I'll just continue to hold those. Tight Bollinger Band set up here, and it's just riding the upper Bollinger Band. 268.53 is the upper Bollinger Band. It got up to 268.15 earlier. Still like this one. Knock on wood. This is the thing with Reddit too. It could be down 5% for no reason, no catalyst, but I think it's going to be the other way around. And I talked about that comparison with Google's market capitalization. You take a look at, Reddit is kind of like, people always talk about like moats around their business stuff. I mean, an online forum having a moat around their business, but it's their user base and the amount of comments and information and stuff that's posted over years. It's just that's their moat, and all right, rants for other days. So that's Reddit. GameStop, right? It looks like it's going to try and make it 8 consecutive days to the upside here, over its 200-day moving average, up another 2%. My calls are up 50%. I keep looking for other strikes, but I'm just going to hold those for now. I think if it closes today, it'll be its biggest consecutive rally since like 2022 of August. So, all good things come to an end. So to me, I'm not the biggest fan of big rallies, but Joby had that too and just continued to go. So, the thing is, the rally hasn't been that much, and I think over the last 8 days, only up 15%. And I say only, that's like in the context of GameStop's normal moves. So, uh, not going to any more strikes. Still like this one for a breakout. And then when it does, the premium is going to go bonkers. So it still hasn't done that yet. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a chance to get some more strikes before that happens. I'll probably wait to see if there's more continuation tomorrow. IIPR over 58 bucks this morning. Finally got some more of my strikes out for close to 300%. Just have a couple left. I didn't have much to begin with. After I locked some in prior, it's taking a lot of my mental energy watching it. So in managing the position. So I don't know if I'm going to add some more strikes. I was thinking about this morning. I do think at some point it's going to break. Their divvy dates September 30th, so in 2 weeks from today. Stock's going to be down $1.90, and you're going to wake up and you're like, why is it down $1.90? Obviously, it's the dividend, but still like this one. I think 57.50 breaks off to the races. And not only that, it's just the longer things go without some kind of update on the reclassification of marijuana, the closer date to the date we're going to get to some kind of news. So that's IPR. Where's my other stuff? Serve disappointing another day today, like Chop. I mean, when I say disappointing, it's over 12 bucks. So I take that as a win. But just considering where it was on Friday at 13 bucks, I thought it would revisit that either yesterday or even today. Uh, Maybe tomorrow. Still holding, the rest of my Octobers. I still have some September 15s. So that's kind of frustrating. I had some promise on Friday. I had some hopium. And now, as we get closer to Friday, odds of that happening start to slim. But you never know. Only going to take a little kick in the butt. Similar to IIPR, I'm just going to hold what I have for now. That was App Lovin'. And then Lemonade. It's almost like Reddit, right? I mean, here's Lemonade in the green today, but not moving fast enough for the premiums. I guess, I always take things with a grain of salt. The fact that it's holding here, tight range, typically a volatile name, especially after its move yesterday, I think that sets things up. At some point, there's going to be some follow through and a big squeeze. Once it hits 60.49 is the trigger point. I'm trying to think of, and the VIX is pulling back a little bit here, so that's a good thing. I'm trying to think of some of the other names. My Carlytics is running here almost at the highs of the day today. It's one of those names I just don't want to pull the trigger on some more. Edit too is up 6% here. Still have some January strikes. Maybe one of those days it gets back into the run. 330 is the big spot there. I keep staring at Fubo, right? It's like looking earlier today, I'm like, oh, it's in the red. Look, down all the way to 416, and then boom, hits 1 o'clock, and it just spikes all the way up to 435. It's a tough one. I was talking about last week. If in order for me to legitimize getting calls on one of these stocks that are penny stocks by definition, right under $5, I need to be able to look in the future, or at least have at least create a story where I think a stock can go, if it's $4, like Fubo, $4, can it go to $10? And then what does the $6 January strikes look like? If I think it can go to $10 by January expiration, before it, the $6 calls at 20 cents, you're talking 20 bags, right? Where you're not going to get 20 bags if you just buy the common stock. So that's kind of how I rationalize these moves. Same when I was doing Cardlytics, right? I mean, it's $1.50 stock. If you think it can, if I think it can be $6, $7 and I can get the $3 strikes for 10, 15 cents, 20, 30 bags on as opposed to trying to buy the common, just making 100%. And I say just, but the reason you trade the options is for the leverage. So that's always the thought process going behind getting some of these names. So when I look at Fubo and $6 calls at 30 cents, and I think maybe it gets to $7 or 6.50, obviously that risk reward doesn't pay to hold those premiums. So if I can get it for 5 cents, all right, maybe that makes sense. All right, that's right. Other names, I mean, I still look at a line here for some kind of bounce. I mean, it's just been sitting here. Universal Displays another name I keep looking at, and I just at some point I think that one bounces. Cash, 100% cash position, stock buyback. Uh, yeah. Anyway, let's have a great day. I'll be back, folks. Rock and roll.